Hello everyone, we meet again for this third video concerning the Rebirth head unpack with the cyberpunk rogue head. As a reminder, we had unpacked the 2K bomb, Evo X, extra content and theme content parts which are here. I can detach that. We also wear the head, ears, mouth in the 2K bomb folder and also bomb lashes number 9. As well as a rose kiss skin and the 2K bomb shapes and brows. Here is the current state of this video. So, rather than unpack all the files one by one, knowing that there is a lot of content in the Rebirth heads pack, you will spend hours to unpack all that and have fun testing a bit of everything. I suggest instead to have a look at the HUD directly with the different features and pick from these files items which are related and which are interesting to show. We start right away with the first menu here, the head itself, and we can see the skin menu. All the categories that we see here include a similar menu here on the left with a color selector here. It looks like a color picker which allows you to directly apply a color to the selected item. Here, we have a pipette allowing us to have an input field in which we can directly enter the RGB values if necessary. We also have a Show Hide button which allows you to show or hide the concerned object. And very important also, a clear button which allows you to reset completely the settings as they were originally when you first open the HUD. For the skins features, we have the materials settings to manage the reflection. We also have the glossiness. If I increase a little bit, we should see a little more effect. Like this. The environment part is used on SL and which is quite special, it is supplied as standard. And also a feature to put some glow on the face. An important part concerns the overskin, which are layers of materials with different pores style and side effects, a basic skin, a younger skin with a less pores. I increase the glossiness here to show mature skin a little better so we can see a little more furrows and also around eyes. And a wet version, like this. Also note that in the 2K bomb folder, you have in the rogue skins and shapes folder that we already unpack. These items which therefore correspond to the overskin, and which you can add a bomb layer in addition to the materials effect. So for example here we add the wet effect, I add the 50% one. So it will stack with the materials to give an even more visible effect. I also quickly show you the 25% mature version. And going into mature mode here, so we've got that effect a bit more boosted, especially in the eye area. I go back to basic mode here and I'm going to detach this one. I move on to the ears parts. For the ears, we always find this same system at the HUD left part, in the menu which allows to display or not. Note here that you can manage separately the left and right ear, the materials, glossiness, environment and glow. These are the parameters that we very often find in the different options, so I'm not necessarily going to talk about that every time. What is important also is all that concerns the ears spacing and shape. I remove the hair to see better. We can set different style of ear spacing here and also for example to shape the ears, a little more elf version, like this. As I said at the beginning, we can manage separately the left and right part. So for example here I can select an ear completely flat on this side, and I can also change the shape of this ear here to make it a little longer. It is also doable. As I also told you, we can reset here, without having to select everything. I move on to the hairbase part. These are HD hairbases that manage the materials. Mainly what we find here is different styles with different colors, possibly transparency and a blending or masking effect as needed. Note that by default it is disabled, so you just have to display it. We have this type of hairbase here. We quickly go through the different hairbase style. That I change it in black to show a little better, it is short hair. This hairstyle. For buns. And in this style. I'm going to detach it and I'm going to add the mesh hair. This system works with a plier. This means that we can create, with the designers, different textures with the materials. We can apply what we want on these layers, not necessarily hairbases. It will be up to the designers to create different content if they want. Knowing that at the hairbase level, you also have in the 2K BOM folder. Here you have an unpack with also these hairbases in 2K BOM version that you can also combine the effects. So you can add a BOM version and on top of it add the HD hairbases with little transparency, for example. It can be interesting. I continue with the fourth icon here, concerning beards. So what you need to know is that the Rebirth heads are polymorphic. This means you can easily shape the head to give it a more or less masculine or feminine appearance. That will depend on the mesh head morphology. But overall we consider that all heads can potentially wear beards. It is an HD layer which supports pliers. This means that we are not constrained to create beards on these layers. We have essentially the same features as for the other parts, and here on the other hand a different beard series with a colorimetry, as always with transparency and the blending and masking settings. By default it is masked, so I display it. So I have this beard style there. I will quickly review you. You can choose the color for each style. And a mustache to finish. As always you can tint here through the HUD and the color picker. I clear. And hide this part. I follow up here with possibility to add a 2K BOM beard. After unpack this folder, like the hairbase, you will be able to wear a 2K BOM version rather than wearing an HD version, or even more interesting, to combine the effects. It can really be very interesting to have two beard styles. We also have short beards in the 2K BOM folder here which are not necessarily in the HUD part, so mixing the effects may be interesting to do much stronger effects. We start now with the second part of the HUD, with the eyes. This time you can manage the left and right part separately. You can convert the eyes to the BOM format. If we convert to BOM, remember to remove the alpha eyes, otherwise you won't see the BOM eyes. So you can manage the position more inwards or outwards. Raise and lower the eyes, resize and by default an existing colorimetry. Here again, you can manage the left and right part separately. I will reset to default. To return to the basic state, I lower my eyes a little. There you go. For the eyes we also have unpack in extra content, here. It's eyes related content, so we mainly have here these two unpacks, with bomb eyes. There is a huge content inside with a lot of variation etc. So I advise you to unpack according to your needs. Therefore two versions available. I continue now with the second button, the tears. It corresponds to the inner part of the eye here. You can manage the blending, masking, transparency etc. And basically we have different tones, with for example mascara, like that. Then the lashes. They can be managed separately, so you can resize them. It's a really important resize. So to start with really imposing sizes. We really have the two that follow or really reduce according to the needs, for example to resize only the upper part without the lower part. So it's going to be a choice. I will reset first. This is to show you that our lashes therefore are bomb. This means you can combine several lashes at the same time. We will just have to add other lashes to see the effects. In the lashes folder, you also have a memo here that I open with a choice of lashes. So with the 9 version, I can easily cumulate. I'm going to add the 5. You just have to add, so we should see it appear here. The interesting things also concerning lashes is that by default we will also be able to color them separately. By default precisely the lashes are tinted with black through the HUD. So I advise you first to tint them in white. And then edit the lashes number 9 for example. Edit the bomb which is here. And in the color part here, choose the color that interests you, for example black, and save it. So here you can have 2 lashes styles with completely different colors. I detach number 5. So it can be interesting to have complementary effects for lashes. We have done the trick, so I will continue with the brows part. For the brows, still the same system. We can manage the left and right part separately. We have different basic styles by default, so to see it better, I'm going to the skins and shapes folder and change my skin. Wear a skin without brows, so it will be with the WB1. I detach this one and wear this one instead. Without brows. And to show you the different eyebrows available, I will display. For the moment they are not adjusted to the head. We have different styles here which therefore manage the materials also with different colorimetry etc. The resize. You can resize the brows separately. All the features are available for all the parameters here. You can also play with the angle, so it can be interesting precisely to give various effects. And you can also spacing them in or out and raising or lowering them. I'm going to hide the brows and wear my skin back without the HD brows. After the brows, I close the file. Here we have the FX parts. So that's a fairly new Rebirth exclusive feature, since in fact you have to consider the FX as an animation. This means we can animate different layers of the face with textures to give the illusion of a video. I will not review all the features for now because there's a lot to see and it will be the subject of the next video for everything FX related, but I will show you one for example with the theme. We have for example here a Rebirth RoX Cyberpunk Eyes FX applier. I add this one. And I choose to apply this one there on the left eye. I just click on it and the menu here refreshes. And you'll see. So I detach that and in a moment, an animation has been activated for the eye. You can set the speed or as an example, also add an automatic color gradient here. I reset this FX. And hide it. So I won't go into details for the moment. We will see them as we go along according to the different parts. I continue with our FX parts, now, the eyelids. You have some eyelids in the theme content folder, but also in extra content. I will show now the eyeliner FX here. That I add. We can choose the shape we want. I'll take this one for the left version. Detach it. It will appear in a moment. Such an eyelid. As usual, you can play with the speed here, but we will detail in the next video. I continue with another new FX here for the cheeks. We have here for example natural beauty glitters in the extra content folder. I'm going to add this one and I'm going to choose left cheek for example. I detach and we should see it appear here. This style of glitters effect. The part relating to the mouth. This is the internal part of the mouth, the tongue, the teeth. I will first introduce you to the HD part of the lips and the FX part. For the HD lips, it's the same operating system. You can activate the HD lips which work with an applier so that the designers can create additional content. A whole series of default colors and interesting things also. You can resize this part, so you can thanks to that resize a little bit to perfectly fit the HD version to the skin that you are wearing. And you can play with transparency to create an effect. I'm going to hide HD lips for now. I choose the FX lips now. In the extra content we have natural beauty here. So I add it. That's what we saw earlier, but we can also apply them on the lips, so that's what I'm going to do right away. And detach it. And we should see the glitters appear on the lips. Knowing that, you can combine the FX glitters with the HD lips as well. We've already seen this visual part and now we will have a look inside the mouth. So for that, I have to use the OW menu which I'll detail for you right after. I open the mouth here and come back to the internal part of the mouth and different internal tones, so I will try to show them to you quickly. More or less dark. And bloody versions, second part concerning the tongue to manage also separately. And to hide or display as needed according to the creations of the additional mesh that will be worn, we can do it too. I'll show you the part relating to the teeth. Here you can manage the upper and lower part separately. Add dental braces with color choice for different parts. I hide it, and for the T, you can also apply a texture on all the teeth at the top and bottom. Or I only activate the upper part and I choose to color this tooth here, for example, it will be rather this one. So here I deactivate all the others and I apply for example a golden tooth. In extra content here, we also have a whole series of different mouths. I detach the current one and I wear as an example, a mouth with vampire teeth that I'm adding. Here you have this teeth style and you need to know that it works exactly with the same way as the HUD. I detach this one and show you for example the demon version. Like this. You can tint them directly in red if you wish. I go back to the owl just to close her mouth like this. To start concerning the owl, these two buttons here, neck and eyes, which when they are deactivated here, the eyes will be statics, they will look straight ahead, so rather leave them animated at first, and for the neck here, we let the animations play the neck animation. Concerning talks, we have the normal version, for example, here, which is activated, so it works with the type script, when you write. It also works with the talk gestures that I specify here and that you will have to find in the extra content and activate these talk gestures if you want to be able to talk and at the same time have the talk animation that is triggered on SL. We have default blinks that we can activate, knowing that all the moods here also contain integrated blinks, so depending on the effects, you don't have to activate the blinks here, it will be at your convenience. Also the ears are important. We have ears animations which can be combined with what we saw at the beginning concerning the ears shapes. I show you. So we have for example an animation here. I can enlarge and shift a little bit and shape them too, and everything will work together. I disable those two and I'm going to come back to the owl here. Concerning the mouth features, these owl allow you to modify the mouth shape with different effects which can be combined with the moods here. Except for some here, for example the open mouth and the chew, but this allows you to slightly modify the mouth style. We also have a chew version. Regarding these Smile FX and Sound FX features, I will show you by zooming in a little bit here. The goal is to have sounds and an additional smile effect that will be synchronized with the animations we have here. On the Rascal version, you'll have to look at the mouth here and also listen. I'll start. I think you have seen and heard, so we have a system which allows according to the moods that we have here. For example, we can also have it for the smile. You can see a slight line here. A furrow appear and will be dynamic according to the animation, the smile intensity, etc. So here in the Smile FX you can choose different level and also through the color picker, modify in according to your skin tone. We also have that in the extra content folder, Sound FX. What you need to know is that many animations here also contain sound effects which are triggered at the same time as the animation. You can deactivate them by clicking here. You will no longer have the sounds. If you ever want to also create your own sounds, it will be quite easy through an applier. If you ever reset the OW part here, you will lose all the sounds that were previously in the head. I mention it again here. Remove stored FX sounds. So if you ever do, don't worry, you can reapply thanks to this applier here. RoX Sound FX that I open and reapply according to the animations that you want the restore. Last little tip also concerning the moods here. You can activate mood styles by default like this. And if you ever want to pause them without having to deactivate them, all you have this button here, playing, where we can pause or restart them. The moods play randomly, so do not worry about this. You can activate or deactivate them. Everything works in a homogeneous and synchronized way. I will now have a look at the pose snaps part. They intended mainly for taking photos with different types of poses. I show you a few. You can also activate a Smile FX here. Here you can choose different tones and intensity depending on the pose. Last button here, the configuration concerns all the medias and other supports. Kill the scripts or reset them if necessary, for the head or HUD, depending on your needs, especially if you want to avoid modifying anything or on sims who need a low lag, it can be interesting. The information here gives you the README that is in the folder here, it's the same one found here. So we have substantially covered the head features. Now, we will have a look at extra content and theme content. So here we have eyeliner, gloss, another FX, another mouth styles. Bomb eyes, the extra content. Eyebrow custom tattoo. I detach the hair again. For example, here we have a custom eyebrow tattoo. It's an unpack. I wear it now. We have a tattoo with a HUD here that I wear also, and you can set the text you want with different color. You will note that we have a lot of additional content, lot of meshes with HUD and a lot of features. So that's it, it's just to introduce you to it quickly. I'm not going to dwell on the subject for the moment. Concerning extra content, I have pretty much covered it. For content theme now, we really have a lot of stuffs. In particular CyberIFX, which is an applier that we saw earlier that I apply to eyes. We will try to convert the head to cyberpunk style. I apply those IFX now. Like this. We also have another star glitter FX applier here. I apply on the cheeks. Left and right. I detach the applier. Those glitters are a little bit different with lights and color changing. We have punk ears I will wear. Before I go to the 2K bomb folder and remove the default ears. And I wear these punk ears. In 2K bomb version in that case. These are ears with holes. I add the piercings. This is also an unpack. I add both. And the HUD, which can control different parts. If you want to manage several parts at the same time, you have to do a long press to select several parts. Like this, and then choose in different color. I will not review everything. But the process is the same. There you have this style of accessories which are included by default in the heads. In this folder, you have punk ears, the 2K bomb tattoos. There we have additional tattoos to unpack. There are a lot of tattoos, dirt, war paint, screws. For example, we add this one, 60% version for example. I will not wear everything and show you one by one. I will be as simple as possible. I add the screws on top in 2K bomb format, and here, the tattoos, the stitches. It's up to you to test all the content. I'll try to go fairly quickly on the subject. We also have glasses in the folder. The glasses that I add now on the head. You can use the HUD. Manage a whole system of colorimetry. We have animations. We have lots of little things like that are also quite nice, for example here. I detach that for now. We have a helmet here. There you go. So there are still a lot of items to unpack, and so you have a helmet with once again a HUD to manage colors. Instead of unpack all, I take a short break, long enough to display the final head in cyberpunk style. Back with the complete rogue head in cyberpunk version, we added a lot of 2K bomb tattoos. FX that have been applied to the eyes and cheeks, lips as well, and additional meshes with many colors and customization of ears, piercings. Here is a complete head. I also remind you that in the Rebirth store, you have a compatibility pack at your disposal to take when you have a rogue head. In that case, you can use all its items and content on other RoX heads such as the Arwen or Marcus, for example. The next video concerns FX Explained that I suggest you to watch, and for now, see you very soon friends.